Okay, hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest. Series 27 is officially out ever since yesterday, according to our time, on the 16th of September. Don't worry, Devora is on the way, but I finished Gorog pretty much yesterday, and I want to say this right now, it is a good, strong start to the series. It hasn't really dragged in any way that I could have thought, but I think it's a better improvement compared to Series 25 and Series 26 is basically a follow-up to that series. But I do like this setup of this series more compared to Series 26, 25 slash 26, because that was like that whole story arc of the big lie thing. It didn't really grasp me. This one's grasping me more, and we'll go into that detail in just a bit. So, like always, in-depth story analysis and my overall thoughts on this epic adventures. If you haven't already, make sure you've picked up this book before and reading it before watching this review, unless you don't care for spoilers. That being said, though, let's get to the story. Right. Tom and Eleanor tried to sleep, but couldn't. They were needed, as a strange toxic odor was rotting up the place. They found the source. It came from a metal box. Daltek arrived and opened it, revealing inside was a skeletal hand with a ring on it. The box was taken to Daltek's tower for investigation and would be later buried properly. However, Tom thought he saw the hand move. He tried to get the thought out of his mind, but it wouldn't go away. Now, I have a theory why Tom's having these visions. If you read that speech from Carradine, that Carradine is true, and it's true, and he was a master of the beasts, it would make sense that Tom could hear as he has gained this ability of a connection to all master and mistresses of the beasts from Krokol, I believe. So I appreciate the touch of continuity there. Anyway, Tom heard a whispering voice and heard Daltek cry. He smashed his way inside and saw a shadowy figure strangle his friend. The Phantom mocked Tom and fled with Tom in pursuit. Although I'll say this, he's easily the best villain look-wise and probably power-wise compared to all the other villains. Why? Because he's not an evil sorcerer type, it's something different for a change. He reminds me of a combo between Demon Eye and Pitch from the Guardians of the Rise of the Guardians. Anyway, Tom chases after him, and we see the Phantom can create his own shadow horse, which he can use to escape. Then the council gathers, demanding answers, which comes from King Mandor's son, the ghost of Prince Loris. He explained the Phantom was his brother, and he'd returned when they opened the box, meaning him and the Phantom Carradine are both from the Isle of Ghosts. We learn from Loris that he and his brother were masters of the beast back in the past. They had killed 3 beasts, but on their 4th, the final beast Gargantua sensed selfish vanity in Carradine, which he planned to exploit, to save his neck. He offered him power for sparing his life, and it wasn't that long before Carradine turned on his brother, killing him before making him a ghost. When Carradine returned, he wore Gargantua as a ring, and told that Loris died in battle. However, it wasn't long before the truth was found out, and Mandor chopped off his son's hand, banishing him within, and not wanting him to be reminded of this terrible event. Mandor instructed no records were made of this event, which I think is a stupid thing to do in case someone ever opens the box. Anyway, Loris explained that Carradine will resurrect the beast that he killed with the aid of Gargantua's power. He could control them and use their power to take revenge on Avantia. We also learn that every time Carradine killed a beast, it increases his power, which I assumed is Gargantua's abilities. He was first planning to raise Gorog, a Varkul beast, which I appreciate we finally get a Varkul as a beast. I mean, you could argue Anaret, which I see her as the ruler of them, and I picture Gorog as the muscle of that race. Anyway, we finally get the old team back, Tom, Eleanor, Silver, and Storm. That's great to see. However, the animals are sense danger, and Loris pointed them to it. So, all things good so far. Moving on. It was Carradine. As we expected, he had already gotten to the site where Gorog died. He began to his resurrection. However, Loris got into a fight with Carradine, while Tom tried to stop the summoning spell. However, Carradine was too much for Loris, and by the time Tom wanted to help, Gorog had awoken. One wonders why Tom doesn't use his shadow form to fight Carradine if he can't normally touch him, because there are 2 points where he could have done that, which he didn't. Gorog rose up and was going to attack Carradine until he used his ring to control the fiery fiend and reveal his awesome powers to our heroes. With a simple gaze, the enemy Gorog could turn up the temperature to whatever he stares at. This could prove useful in Battle of the Beasts. Anyway, though, this forced our heroes onto the evasive, having to hop from tree to tree to avoid Gorog's gaze, while struggling to deal with the heat. Our heroes were majority throughout this battle on the evasive throughout the fight until Tom hoped the waters of the Forest of Fear could silence the fiery fiend near the lake. Near the lake, Tom used the red jewel to lure him closer, which ticked Gorog off. Tom timed it right and tricked Gorog into accidentally diving into the waters. This weakened him but didn't kill him. Gorog planned staring at Tom again, but despite the heat, Tom used his golden armor powers to boomerang his sword to finish chopping down a nearby tree, crushing Gorog. He tried to escape while he was suffocating, but it was too late. Gorog had been defeated. Tom claimed it was over, but Carradine implied he had only made himself stronger by killing Gorog. He reveals not only can his kills make himself stronger, but also the kills that his enemy makes too. Not to mention, he grabbed Eleanor, and she tried to fight back. He reveals his enemy's willpower also strengthens his powers, which means whenever our heroes are determined, he'll be getting stronger as well throughout the series. Book 1, and he already says the best. Yeah, it's book 1, and he's already easily the best villain to me. Anyway, Silver and Storm come in and scare Carradine off as he heads off to rise at the sea beast Devourer, the Deathfish. And that ends that book, with our heroes planning to beat him next time. As you can see, Gorog, the Fiery Fiend story alone, awesomeness that it is. But yeah, let's go through to the character portion now, and then I'll get my overall thoughts on this epic adventure. So first up we have Tom, and Tom, of course, being his usual stealth, he's a bit elusive of what's going on. Like, he like all the other good guys, like, I don't understand what's going on, I want to know. And since this is a new series for him, he's pretty much he's kind of out of his element. I mean, he still has his powers, but there are times where he doesn't use his powers fully, and I don't know why. I just wish we had an explanation of why he doesn't do that, like use his shadow ability. But aside from that, pretty standard issue for Tom. He still thinks of new ways to beat the enemy and finds ways to pull through. So I am happy to see that. I don't think either Tom and Eleanor really stood out too much in this book. It's just set up for them. So maybe there's potential development for them down the road. Same goes for Eleanor. Normally when it comes to this type of beast, Gorog wasn't really this was mainly a Tom's victory. Eleanor was just really silent. I can't really think of anything major that she did that helped out, really. She was just there to support Tom. So for our two leads, this is not the best of character development, I would say. It's just like, if you're familiar with these characters and you know them really well enough, then this is a good first read for you. But if you don't want to see the bond between Tom and Eleanor, don't expect Gorog to be that book for you. Moving on to the one-off side character, Loris the Ghost, and he's an interesting character because he's supposed to provide us with the exposition for Carradine and his plans. So I expect him to see. We'll be expecting to see him a lot throughout this series. That'd be awesome. I would like to see some more development for his character, and it is nice to see his background. So it is open, and I appreciate that he's willing to fight his brother, even though his brother's probably stronger than him, which makes sense. Going on to him, which is literally right now, going on to Carradine. Carradine, easily the best villain. If you look at some of the artwork in the book, you can see what I mean. He's got the creepy smile, the black eyes, the silhouettes. He's got this phantom look. Sometimes in the title he's referred to as the Shadow Man, but I think the phantom serves him better. And of course, yeah. But yeah, Carradine, great villain. The one I've said this in the story, but one of the few things that makes him stick out is that he's not the traditional villain that we get in Beast Quest, like the traditional sorcerer wanting type of power. He does want power, only this time it's not just a sorcerer, it's actually a phantom type of creature, and that makes him more intimidating. But something new, something unique. And the fact that there are sometimes we have beasts as villains as well, but this is something different. Because at this point in the story, it's hard to really say who's in charge. And what I mean by that is, when you go back through his background, it's like, oh, Gargantua is the one who poisoned him and corrupted him up to make him like evil because he saw the selfish endeavors of that character of Caradon. So is Gargantua the you could say Gargantua is the mastermind and Caradon's just like the puppet. Kind of like what was his name? Oh, Jezrin's Derek? Eric? I forgot his name. But he was Jezrin's Ferric? I don't know. But he was Jezrin's henchman, and then he moved on to Malville, I believe. And then he made his new body. I can't remember his name, but I know Adam's going to remind me. But yeah, I hope, part of me says, as much as it's going to be cool to see Gargantua be the big main villain, I would rather have Caradon be the big main villain. That's just what I would like. But if it does come to the cliche of, oh, the real villain was Gargantua all along, I mean, that's fine, because like we already established that he only did to save his neck. And I'm sure that will make Adam happy regardless, because he loves his snake beasts, and this is probably going to be one of those big boss fights that's in. Caradon, it is good to see that all his abilities make him stronger. So like when he kills a beast, makes him stronger. When his enemy kills a beast, makes him stronger. Or even in willpower, which Tom and Eleanor have a lot of willpower. Whenever they get determined, he's going to get stronger throughout this series, which raises up the tension, I think. So it's a very interesting gimmick. And it creates, like, how can he beat... It explains why he was able to beat his brother if they're both ghosts. So overall, Caradon is a great villain, and I'm looking forward to see what more comes from him all his powers and stuff. And it's interesting that, and it's cool because we never really have a Master of the Beasts who's evil, unless you count Jakara. But Jakara's more of a victim. It is similar to the whole Jakara thing, only it's a bit different because it's more of a grander scale. Now, to be fair, Jakara is a better character compared to Caradon, but it's more of a... how do I put it? I feel like Caradon is easy manipulated compared to Jakara. Jakara was like, imagine if Jakara was like a good wholesome person, and she was able to fight 60 years to contain that. But imagine if someone just wanted to be the title of Master of the Beast for pure power stakes, then we get Caradon. So I am curious to see how the hell, I guess I have two sons, and I don't want them to squabble over Master of the Beast, so I'll let them both have it. And that's when, of course, the bitter inner jealousy of Caradon was born. But it is nice to have like a Master of the Beast be a main villain per se throughout the series, and I think it's going to be very effective. And I hope he becomes a continuous villain throughout the series. That'd be awesome. And there is potential for that because he is a ghost type creature. But yeah, and it all happened because someone opened a box. He was trapped inside, and they opened the box, and there we go. Anyway, going on to Gorog, there isn't much to say on this one, because Gorog is basically, he's kind of sidelined due to the setup of the plot, which is respectable for a series pilot. But for what abilities he does have, he's just, there is one point like Tom, does this beast ever stop fighting? And I don't see Gorog as a non-stop fighter. He's more of an angry beast who, I wouldn't say he's egotistical at all, where he gets over cocky with his ability. He's just angry and has this ability in his eyes that I think anger helps fuel his eyes and the gaze, and that's how they're able to heat up. So there are ways you could figure out it. He's got a bearish design, and again, like I said before, it is nice to see a Varkil beast as an actual threat for a change. So overall, Gorog is a good starting book from the villain, for the background of the series, for the plot, and for the beast alone of what we're going to come across. So overall, I'm looking forward to the other 3 books throughout the series. Thank you all for watching, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time when I get to the Death Fish. Till next time, peace out.